This video is for the lesson 2.2 homework. You will be completing this assignment on Edpuzzle, and so the video will stop and have you insert answers at certain points. Okay, so let's get started. So number one, on this assignment we're doing parallel and perpendicular lines. We're going to do parallel lines first. So parallel lines have the same slope. So if our original line has a slope of m equals 4, then our parallel line is going to have a slope of m equals 4. Okay? The first thing that we have to do with any of these is write the equation for the original line. So number one says, given a line with a slope of m equals 4 and a y-intercept of 0, negative 12, determine the equation of the line parallel to the given line that passes through the point negative 4, negative 2. And we need to write this in slope-intercept and standard form. So this is going all the way back to Algebra 1. This is stuff that we did in Algebra 1. Okay? All right. So our original line, our given line, has a slope of 4 and it has a y-intercept of negative 12. That's our b value. And so we can write this in slope-intercept form. All we do is we flip out the m for the slope and the b for the y-intercept. So this is my given line. This is not my answer. So now we're going to determine the equation of the line parallel to the given line that passes through the point negative 4, negative 2. So our parallel line is going to have the same slope. It's going to have a slope of 4. But they give us this ordered pair, negative 4, negative 2. And it's not a y-intercept. It's just a point. It's just an x and a y. So we can still use slope-intercept form. Okay? And we plug in all the pieces that we know. We know the y is negative 2. We know the m is 4. We know the x is negative 4. What we're looking for is the y-intercept. So if you can get it to this point, you can use your calculator and you can find the b value. So we can do menu 3(1) and we can do negative 2 equals 4 times negative 4 plus b, and then remember comma b. Okay, you got to tell it what letter to solve for. And that gives me a 14. So we know that b equals 14. So my parallel line, I have to go back and I have to write it again with just the slope of 4, and just the y-intercept. So 4x plus 14. Here's my original line. Here's my parallel line. The slopes are the same. It's the y-intercept that's different. So my answer to number 1 would be 4x plus 14, if I could write today. Now we also have to write that in standard form, and this is where things get a little bit tricky for you guys. So standard form, the x and the y are over on this side. So standard form is ax plus by equals c. X values over here, y values over here, and then the constant is on the right-hand side. The rules for standard form are no fractions, and the x value, if we have a number in front of x, it has to be positive. Okay? So if I want to convert my equation, I need to move the x value over here. So anytime we're moving pieces, we're adding or subtracting. So in this case, we're going to subtract. So we're going to have negative 4x, that's a positive y, so plus y. This cancels, 14. Now remember what I said, the x can't be negative. So if you have a negative value in front of x, everybody's sign changes. So negative 4x becomes positive 4x, positive y becomes negative y, positive 14 becomes negative 14. And so that is my standard form equation. All right, number 2 is yours. So number 2 says, given a line with a slope of m equals 5 and passes through the point 4, 14, determine the equation of the line parallel to the given line that passes through the point negative 2, 1. Represent the line in slope-intercept and standard form. So I'm going to get you started on this one. I'm going to write you the equation for the given line. So we know the slope is 5, and we know we have this ordered pair. So on this one, they gave us the y-intercept. This one, they just give us an ordered pair. And that's okay. We can still use slope-intercept form. Okay, fill in the pieces that we know. So y is 14, m is 5, x is 4, plus b. Again, I can use the calculator. I can do menu 3-1, type it in, comma b, and I know that my b value is -6. So my given line for number 2, slope is 5, y-intercept is 6. From here, I need to find the line that's parallel and goes through this point. Okay, so your new line, you know your slope is going to be 5, and then you have this ordered pair, -2, 1, x and a y. So this process that I just did, you'll do that again, but with your new ordered pair. Whatever your answer is in slope-intercept form, you need to put it in standard form as well. So here's your question. So 2a, given a line with a slope of m equals 5 and passes through the point 4, 14, determine the equation of the line parallel to the given line that passes through the point -2, 1. Represent the line in slope-intercept form. So again, your given line, we found that equation, 5x minus 6. Okay? So you can use this information. This is not the answer. This is just to get you started. Let's find a bright color here. So this gives you your slope. You know what your slope is. Use that and this ordered pair to write your new equation in slope-intercept form. All right, question 2b is taking the answer that you got from 2a. Okay, now you're going to write it in standard form. So same question, take your equation from 2a, write it in standard form. All right, the next question we have is number 3. It says, given a line that passes through the points 1, 4 and 3, 6, determine the equation of the line parallel to the given line that passes through the points 7, -3. So it says represent the line in slope-intercept and standard form. So for this one, all we need on these is the slope, and I can use my calculator to find the slope. So again, we did this last year. If they give us a set of ordered pairs, okay, we can go to the table, put an x next to the a y next to the b, put our x's and our y's, so see how they match, how it looks the same in my calculator, and then it's menu 4, 1, 3. Change the x list to x, the y list to y, and then here's our slope. Our slope is 1. That's all we need from that given information. Because the line is parallel, it's going to have the same slope. My new line, my parallel line, is going to go through this point, 7, -3. So again, using slope-intercept form, we use what we have. So remember, this is an x and this is a y, so we can plug our pieces in and try to find our y-intercept. Okay, so menu 3, 1, -3 equals 1 times 7 plus b, comma b, and we get a -10. So b is -10. That means my parallel line, slope is 1, b is -10. Now remember, when we write this one, we're not going to put that 1 in front of the x. We're going to write it as x minus 10. Okay? So now that we've done that part, now we have to change it to standard form. Okay? So remember, we need the x's and the y's together. So to move that piece, we add or subtract. Since x is positive, we're going to subtract x from both sides. negative x plus y, and the x piece does have to go first. Negative 10. X can't be negative, so everybody's sign gets flipped. So x minus y equals 10. All right, number 4 is yours, but I'm going to get you way more than started on this one. It says, given the graph, determine the equation of the line parallel to line AB that passes through the point 5, 1. So this is our given line. All we need is the slope. We can count the slope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going up 6, and then we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then remember, anytime that we get slopes that are fractions, we want to simplify them. So we just type the fraction in, 6 over 8, and we get our slope. So that's our slope for number 4. So our slope, again, we're doing parallel lines, so our slope's going to stay the same. And then here's the ordered pair that my new line goes through. 5, 1, x and y. Okay, so now we've got to write the equation. So slope-intercept form, y is a 1, m is 3/4, x is 5, plus b. So we got to find our b value. All right, menu 3, 1 equals 3/4 times 5 plus b, comma b. And so there's my y-intercept. I don't want it as a decimal. So I'm going to do menu 2 and change it. And there's a reason that I don't want it to be a decimal. Okay? So my new equation, slope is 3/4, y-intercept is negative 11 over 4. Okay, so y equals 3/4 x minus 11 over 4. Your job for this one is to convert this to standard form. I'm going to get you started on that since we haven't done one with a fraction yet. So first rule of standard form is no fractions. This one's easy because the fractions that I have the same bottom. Okay? To get rid of the fraction, you multiply everything by the number on the bottom. So we're going to multiply y times 4, we're going to multiply 3/4 times 4, and negative 11 over 4 times 4. So 4 times y would give me 4y. 4 times 3/4, this cancels. That's why we do it. And all we're left with is the 3 and the x. Same thing happens here, and all we're left with is the 11. All right, so your task for number 4 is to continue and get this into standard form, proper standard form. So here's your question. So we're going to skip to this one. So we've already got, let me write it for you. Copy this over here. Okay. So we've already put this equation, we've already got rid of the fraction. Your job is to finish converting this to standard form. So remember, x and y on the same side, the x value has to be positive. So for number 4, type your answer in the correct standard form. All right, next question is number 5. Now we're on to perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. So number 5, given a line with a slope of m equals negative 3 and a y-intercept of 0, 1. Okay, same as parallel lines. I can write the equation for my original. This is my given line. Okay? My slope is negative 3. So now I have to get my perpendicular slope. Take the value, put it over 1, and then we change the sign. So if it's negative, it becomes, I did that completely backwards, don't listen to me. Take your slope, and it goes under 1. I apologize. And then change your sign. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. So my new slope for this one is 1/3. So you flip it on its head, okay, and then change the sign. And then we're given this point, 6, -4. So same process now. The only thing that changes is how we find our slope. So again, x and a y. So y is a -4, slope is a 1/3, x is a 6, plus b. So I can solve for the b value. Oh, try that again. 1/3, 6, plus b, comma b. So my b value is a -6. So my parallel line, slope is 1/3, y-intercept is -6. Okay, now we need to write that in standard form. Okay, so just like the last one, we've got to get rid of this fraction. To get rid of this fraction, we multiply everything by 3. So this gets multiplied by 3, this gets multiplied by 3, this gets multiplied by 3. So 3 times y is 3y. These will cancel and I'm left with 1x. So I'm just going to write an x. And then -6 times 3 is a -18. Move the x to the left-hand side. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. So -x plus 3y equals -18. If x is negative, everybody's sign changes. Okay, and so that x, let's write that, x minus 3y equals 18. So there's standard form. All right, so number 6 is really similar to number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and get you started on this one. This time they've given me the slope, and they've given me this ordered pair. That's my given line. So I'm going to write the equation for my given line. So y is 6, m is 6, x is -2, plus b. So we got to find our b value. All right, so 6 equals 6 times a -2. Oop, goodness. Plus b, comma b. Having trouble. So my b value is an 18. Sorry, my brain's not wanting to look at that right. Okay. So my given line, slope is 6, y-intercept's 18. All right. So given line has a slope of 6. Flip it on its head, change its sign. So my new slope is going to be a -1/6. And then it gives me this point, -9, 1. -9, 1. Okay, so I can write my new line, x and y. So y equals the slope times x plus b. I got to find my new y-intercept. And so this one, again, we don't want decimals. We want fractions. So in slope-intercept form, here's my slope, here's my y-intercept. Okay, so that would be, that's the perpendicular line. So your task for this one is going to be getting it into standard form. But here's the catch. Here's what's different about this one. The fractions are different. So same thing on this one. I'm going to get you started. Okay, so we don't want fractions. Okay? So we have to choose, do we multiply by 6 or do we multiply by 2? In this case, I'm going to multiply by 6 because 2 is a factor of 6. So each of these pieces, we're going to multiply by 6. So it's going to cancel here. All I'm left with is a negative 1x, negative x. Now if I multiply this, if I multiply negative 1/2 times 6, I get a negative 3. Okay, so you can use your calculator for those bits. Your task now is to convert that, finish converting that to standard form. So your question for number 6, let me grab this and jump to the right question. Okay, so here's your question. We already got it to this point right here. Let me type it out for you. 6y equals negative x minus 3. Your job is to continue converting this equation to standard form. Okay, so that's your question for number 6. Continue converting this equation to standard form. All right, number 7, so still on perpendicular lines. So now they've given us these points. That's our given line. All we need from that is the slope. Okay, so we're going to use linear regression to find the slope on this one. So x next to the a, try that again, y next to the b, and then we put our x's in. So negative 2 and 4, and then 6 and 3. Again, look how your calculator matches the ordered pairs. And we're going to do menu 4, 1, 3, change the x list to x, the y list to y, and the slope is all we need. Okay, so our slope is negative 0.5. Again, we don't want decimals. So let's change that to a fraction. Most of you guys can probably do that in your head and know that it's negative 1/2. Okay. Perpendicular. So negative reciprocal. We have to flip the fraction on its head and change the sign. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. 2 over 1 is just a 2. That's my slope. And then here's the ordered pair that we need. 2, 7. All right, slope-intercept form. So y is 7, m is 2, x is 2, plus b. So now we can solve for the b value. So my b value is 3. So in slope-intercept form, 2x plus 3. Okay, y equals 2x plus 3. So that's the slope-intercept line in slope-intercept form. Now we have to convert it to standard form. So we have to move the x value over here. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. 2x plus y equals 3. And then remember, we change the signs. So if x is negative, everybody's sign changes. So 2x minus y equals a negative 3. All right, so your question is going to be number 8. So once again, I'm going to get you started on number 8 just because fractions do not type well into Edpuzzle. All right, so given the graph, determine the equation of the line perpendicular. So again, all we need is the slope from this line. So we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, up 4, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that's the slope of the given line. For the perpendicular line, flip it on its head. So you just take the fraction and flip it and change the sign. So we have a slope of negative 5 over 4, and then we've got this ordered pair. So slope-intercept form. So y is a negative 2, m is a negative 5/4, x is a negative 8, plus b. All right. So my b value is negative 12. So in slope-intercept form, my equation would be negative 5/4 x minus 12. Your task is going to be to get this to standard form. This one I'm going to let you do on your own. So your question for number 8 is to convert this to standard form. So let's get that up here. All right, so for number 8, we've got the equation in slope-intercept form. You need to convert it to standard form for question number 8. All right, last one I'm going to do with you is question 10. You're going to do question 9, but let's do question 10 first. So given a line that passes through the points 1, 9 and 1, negative 6, determine the equations of the lines parallel and perpendicular to the given line that pass through the point negative 7, negative 6. So there's a couple things that we can try. Here's what I would do. Here's your given line. Okay, we can use Desmos. So let me get Desmos up here and get it where we can see what's going on. I can type these points into Desmos. Okay, and then remember I can change it to a table. And 1, negative 6, and then I can turn the line on. Okay, so these points give me a vertical line. So my given line, vertical lines are x equals, and it's whatever the x value is. That's my given line. Okay, so if it's parallel, it's going to be vertical as well. So my parallel line is going to be vertical. My perpendicular line is going to be horizontal. And you had this in your notes, how to write the equations for these. If it's a vertical line, it starts with x equals. If it's a horizontal line, it starts with y equals. And then they give us this ordered pair. So if it's an x equals line, we use the x value. If it's a y equals line, we use the y value. Okay, so your question, last one. All right, given the graph, determine the equations of the lines parallel and perpendicular to the given line that pass through the point negative 5, positive 3. So for this first question, we're going to call this 9A. We're going to write the line that's parallel. So let me grab a text box really quick. Okay, so 9A, we're going to do just the parallel line. All right, so if it is parallel to this line that I have here, it's going to be horizontal as well. So this equation is going to need to start with y equals. So for 9A, write the line that is parallel to this. Your hint is it starts with y equals. All right, for 9B, you're going to write the line that's perpendicular. If it's perpendicular to this line, it's going to be x equals. It's going to start with x equals. So for your answer for 9B, start with x equals and then put your value in. And that is it for this assignment.